Universal COVID-19 testing program tops 1 million registrations as authorities brush aside cases of identity theft and fake online appointments. Another day of cautious optimism as Hong Kong's new COVID case numbers remain in single digits. And is inadequate government healthcare to blame for a family tragedy?
Hello and thanks for joining us here on TVB News. Controversy continues to brew over the government's universal COVID-19 testing program, this time over claims of identity theft and fraudulent online appointments.
Authorities, meanwhile, say registration numbers have topped 1 million and more community testing centres are being set up in Islands District. Dongyao reports.
As of last night, authorities say the universal testing scheme had collected about 650,000 specimens. But they've also received more than 160 complaints about the scheme, including registrations using the personal information of people who did not intend to register. Those cases have fueled suspicion that government officials are using false registrations to boost low participant numbers. On a radio program, the Secretary for Innovation and Technology brushed aside the complaints, saying people should not overthink. Alfred Sid said a tiny amount of people should not play with the system and waste testing slots. Sid said testing centers are double-checking ID cards to avoid identity theft, and added that the turnout rate of more than 90% shows the popularity of the program. He said police are investigating about 100 complaints. The official again confirmed the cross-border health code system is in place, but won't be rolled out until the coronavirus is under control in the city. The government has also scrambled to add 6 more testing centers in the Islands District. After it was revealed there was only one location for the outlying islands, located in Tung Chung. At a center in Changchao, residents waited in the rain to get tested. These residents said the arrangement was helpful since many seniors find it difficult to leave the island to be tested. But the new centers are only open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and only on designated days. The government has also promised to send deep throat saliva test teams to other remote areas in the district. Dongyao, TVB News.
The city again reported single-digit COVID-19 cases today, with all 7 locally acquired.
Still, some 20 people may have tested preliminary positive for the virus, including a prisoner.
Among the latest infections, 4 are linked to previous clusters. That includes a guest in Metro Park Hotel in Mong Kok and a security guard who works in Tai Wai. As for cases with unknown sources of infections, a 62-year-old who lives in Diamond Hill has contracted the virus. He works at a garage in To Kwa Wan and often eats at a tea restaurant in the area. Meanwhile, 2 other cases were found through the government's universal community testing program. One of them is a 60-year-old man who lives on Argyle Street and works in Kowloon City in air conditioning maintenance. The other case is a 39-year-old Filipino domestic helper who lives in Yuen Long with her employer. Last month, she gathered with a few friends in the neighborhood, so the group, together with the helper's employer, are now in quarantine. Meanwhile, tracing work is underway for a prisoner who tested preliminary positive for the virus.
He was admitted to Siu Lam on 21st of August and stayed there until 9th of September. And then he went to court hearing on 4th of September, and then was found to have high fever in the evening. After he was transferred to the Lai Chi Kok. I understand the prisons in Hong Kong, they also have some tests for the prisoners if they have travel history before they are admitted to the prisons or if they develop symptoms.
She added the man who used to live in Shek Kip Mei may have had the virus before he was taken into jail. Authorities are distributing hundreds of specimen bottles to all staff members and prisoners in both institutions.
Now, despite dropping infection figures in the city, the education chief says it's still too early to resume full-day classes. Kevin Young said on a radio program the infection risk while students eat lunches together is still very high. From September 23rd, schools will return to offline half-day classes. Young said all schools now being used as sample collection centers in the government's universal testing program will be disinfected before classes resume. He also urged teachers, students, and parents to join the mass testing scheme.